Iapi, kedetched, wahibduta kega Dakota Iapi, unge hana ito epekte. Komani due Dakota kaha aus ake. Dakota snise tahan oyan kumpi. Taaku ota täsni hetsen ibodbod ukina jipe. Hana due choya taaku tana heichi tu studiapsningash. Hana aya umpi. Dakota Iapi king de wichoya king na wo kaheche. Today, my friends, my relatives, my family, I come here to offer some words. As I sit here, I think about what is happening within our community, Wipazokawakpa. We've come upon a lot of things. Some, it was made like that. Some of us made it like that. Some are trying very hard, to walk that good way. As Dakota people, we are to allow ourselves to lead with our heart. Because sometimes it's very difficult to do that. To walk that good road. And what is that good road? It's something that we have to find within ourselves. In our community, we are beginning to get lost with words, what is being put out there. And it saddens me that this is happening. We don't need to live a life like that. And remember, Mitakuyapi, we always say our children are the futures of this community. They will be leading in the next generation to guide us the proper way, to guide themselves in a good way. But it seems it's not happening. Instead, we are lashing out because we are not happy with something, lashing it out loud in front of our children, our grandchildren. That's what saddens me. We don't need to let children hear things like this. Do we want our children to be like us? No. We want our children to have good lives, to have that respect, that love, that maushida, that compassion, to waokia, to share, to help each other. That's what we want for our children. We want to make it good. So when we say these terrible things in our community, they're listening. They're listening, not only in this community, but it happens in other communities. So this is why we have to be very careful of what we say. Ahana, long time ago, when the older people talked, the older people talked amongst themselves. They didn't have the children around to be listening because some of the things that they had talked about were very sensitive and children are not to hear it. But at the same time, sometimes children are included if they want to discipline their children with love, with respect, and that's when we can talk to our children, because our disciplining ways is very different compared to what happens now than what happened a long time ago. That's why I say we discipline our children with love and respect. We never said anything bad to a child. You know, if a child had done wrong, we corrected them in a good way. If a child had said something that was not good, well, we corrected them in a good way. We didn't yopa them, we didn't scold them, or we didn't spank them. But we see that happening now. Or we get mad, we take away things. Oh, you're not going, I'm not going to buy you this, you're not going to get this. You know, that's not teaching a child anything. You're only teaching that child how to retaliate, because that's what they're going to grow up with, and that's what they're going to do also to their own children. So we have to be very mindful of how we talk to our children. You talk to them in a kind way, in a generous way. You know, I find that nowadays, a lot of our older people, when they get upset, they like to swear, especially women. Women don't swear. You know, they don't go and write terrible things. This is what we call Facebook now. We don't go and write terrible things. What we do is we go directly to that person and ask, what is it that you don't like about me? Or what is it that you heard about me? We can't even do that now. Instead, we have to be behind something and be ohitika from there. You know, we yell from behind whatever we are hiding behind from. And to say terrible words without any truth to it. You know, our people like to lie. You know, they must be so bored at home, you know, to sit back and think, oh, this person is that way. I think I'm going to say something. And, you know, bang, they do that without thinking. You know, they're quick to bring out something. My dad was a very, very smart man, full of wisdom. So was all my uncles, my aunties. They were all like that. My grandparents. When they said something, it didn't just come out of their mouth just like that. They thought about it. They can think about it for hours, days sometimes. That's why when they used to have meetings long time ago, a meeting can go on and on and on because they were thinking for the betterment of our people, children especially. Hasty decisions weren't made. It took time to think about these things, what's going to be good for our community. How can we do this so as our community can strive for the better? What can we do so as we can help our community so nobody will starve? What can we do for our elders so as they don't have to go hungry? Because a lot of our elders, cannot fend for themselves. So these are the things that it takes time to think about it and to talk about it, and most of all, to help each other. So as we can be a better community as Dakota people. We are all Dakota. There's so many Dakota communities here in Canada, in the States, but some of us forget who we are. We say we are Dakota, Lakota, Nakota, but are we really practicing that? Do we really understand what a Dakota person is? A lot of us have to rethink that. Dakota blood is within ourselves. It flows in us. And we have to be proud, and we have to take care of that. That's that DNA from our ancestors. We have to look after it because we don't want to lose that. Take care of it in the best way you can, because it's hard to be a Dakota person. It's hard to walk the Dakota way of life. Sometimes we're lost. Sometimes we say, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. No, we all know what to do. We all know what to say. Like I said, we take the time to think about those things, and we try and fix those things within ourselves. We discipline our own self-being. We discipline what's inside us. We discipline our thinking, how we act. We have to learn to start disciplining that. When we do that, we will be a better community where everybody will get along and not call each other down because of what is happening. A lot of times we take it upon ourselves to try and correct things, but no, we cannot correct things, by ourselves. It has to take a community to do that. We have to come together and talk about whatever issue there is that needs to be addressed. So when we say that we're going to correct it, we just, say untruthful things. Dakota way of life. If we do that, as much as I don't like to say it, if we continue to be like that, remember, it will come back to who you are. Whatever you put out there that's not true, it will come back. Might not be right away, but it eventually does. That's why in our way of life, forgiveness is very important. Amici tuja, forgive me. When we do wrong, we ask for forgiveness. If you do wrong to somebody, forgive. And that's the hardest thing a person can do, is to forgive. And another one is to say, I love you. People cannot seem to say that because they don't know what love is. To them, love is, falling into a relationship right away. No, that's not love. Love comes from the heart. Love comes with words. Love comes within the body. Love comes with thinking. Love comes, with what you're looking at. It's not just the word love. It has more meaning to that than there is So my friends, mitaku Iapi, we choyak tanata kumani. Hana kiksuya yuhamanim ho. Misha nakta kuota starwat michiake. I'm just a human being, a Dakota human being living on this land. I still have lots to learn. I learn every day. When I see something going wrong in the community, I learn from that. When I hear somebody saying something that's not true, I learn from that. And this is how it should be. You know, we cannot forever carry hate in our hearts because hate has no place within ourselves. We have to love each other, forgive each other. Sometimes it's hard, but this is our way of life. It's tough, especially now. It's hard. So we do what we can. And I just wanted to remind people of that. You know, I'm not saying that I know everything. I'm still learning. But I learn as I go along. I pick up things, you know, and I learn from that. I think about it, and I learn from it. And this is what I teach my family, my grandchildren, my nieces and my nephews. I teach them what I can to be a better person within themselves. Not to be better than anybody else, but to be a better person for themselves, so as they will be happy, so as they will not walk with anger, so they won't be walking with hate. Instead, they will be walking with love and disciplining themselves in a good way. And it will take you a long way. It takes time. Mitaku-Iapi, it takes time. If we start doing that now, you know, and apply it every day, ampetu yohi, every day we do that. If we remember, you know, we will have a good life. And to use that prayer is who we are. We have to live with prayer. Wakantanka brought prayer. Wakantanka brought our language, and he made prayer. So we use that to pray, to ask for help, to ask for forgiveness, to help us in a good way. Due ushia wuchike gagakaha tokashira wakantaka will listen. When somebody makes a prayer in the most pitiful way, Creator is there to listen. And Creator will help you. Because our prayers, every prayer he hears, good or bad, but he takes the good. And you have to make that prayer good. We cannot ask for things. We cannot say and pray about, you know, do something to that person. No, we can't do that. Instead, we pray for that person, especially if they're not well, you know, to give them a good health, to give them happiness, to give them what they're nurturing for, to help them in a good way, We don't ask for mazaska. We don't ask for things. We don't ask for money or material things. No, we don't do that. Instead, we ask for things that will help us, who we are as Dakota people, and it will take us to where we want to stand, to help our people. So, my friends, my relatives, I hope you take the good of what I'm saying, because it's not easy to say these things. Maybe I couldn't be judged right now, for saying some of these things, but I know my ancestors are there behind me, helping me, supporting me, because that's who I pray for, to help me find guidance, to lead the way for me, to make that road a better place for me to walk on, so as I can help my people. Because I pity my people. They're Oshika. They walk in a pitiful way, some of them, not all of them, but some of them need help. And, those are ones that I look at. It's techea umpe. It's awful, to live a life of not being happy, a life living with misery. Those are bad. We have to turn that around and try and make good for ourselves. So, Iapi, take these words, and like I said, take what you can and think about it. Use it if you can. And maybe one day, our whole Dakota, Lakota communities will change for the better. That everybody will live in harmony without calling each other down. Tēnā he chitoia mitapio api. Mitapio us.